Hey guys, what is up? It is Mandy here, and I have a very spooky story to tell you guys. Once again, I'm going to be giving you guys another paranormal experience video. I know it's been a while, and you guys really seem to like it. And I figured since it's the first day of October, might as well start off with a scary story, right? Go out with a bang. I thought it was the perfect time to sort of tell you guys more of my paranormal experiences because, like I said, I have a lot of them. So, the one that I'm going to tell you guys about today is my experience at my high school, which is very haunted. So I'll just give you guys a brief overview so you sort of understand like what my high school was like. I went to a private boarding school in a state. I'm just going to say a state. And it has been around, the school itself has been around since 1821. That's right, 1821. That's how long it's been around. So it's been around a really long time through multiple wars, things like that. So this school has seen a lot of death, destruction, things like that. There have even been rumors of gas leaks in some of the buildings and some of the students and teachers dying in the buildings, things of that nature. So there have been lots of scary stories told about my high school and just in general. So basically, yeah, that sort of is an overview for you guys of generally what my school is like. It's honestly in the middle of nowhere. It was a very rural area, very mountainous, but it was a private, small boarding school, and I really did enjoy my time there, all in all. And I definitely miss it a lot sometimes. Sometimes I look back and I'm like, oh, I had so much fun. But no offense, but college is better. I loved private boarding school, and it definitely prepared me for college, but at the same time, I think college you have a lot more freedom, you have a lot more say in what you do. And you don't really get in trouble as much. I feel like at boarding school, like it was very easy to get in trouble or get caught with something. So yeah, so that's just a general overview of my high school. So there are, I think, there were four main academic buildings when I did go to this high school. However, it has remodeled since I've been there because I haven't been there in 3 or 4 years now. So, which is weird to think about because honestly, I feel like I was in high school yesterday. But yeah, it's weird. So yeah, it's a different layout now. It's not exactly the same, but when I was there were four main academic buildings, and there were a couple of buildings that were known to have some pretty scary stuff happen in them. I'll give names of the buildings, and you guys can look it up if you really want to. I don't think you are, but like whatever. If you find out where I go to high school, I don't really care that much, but like I said, I like to keep where I go to school and things like that sort of private. So yeah, basically, there were these buildings. Okay, so I'll just tell you like the stories behind some of these buildings. And one of the stories, there's this building called Berry Hall. I think it was Berry Hall. And it was like the first one on the academic row. And it was brick. Most of the buildings were all brick. And the story was that somebody hung themselves in the attic of that building, which is, of course, very intense, very scary. Obviously, as a high school student, you're going to be like, what the heck? And probably a little freaked out. Then we have Meservey, which is the one that definitely, Meservey Hall, I feel like, which is called something different now because it's been remodeled, but when I was there, it was called Meservey Hall. It was the old building. Now it's brand new, but they like tore it down and redid it. But when I was there, some pretty weird stuff happened, which is what you guys are going to find out about when I tell you my experience. But basically, that building is said to have had a gas leak that was toxic. Like the air was toxic because of the gases that were released, because it used to be the science building many years ago, like way before I came to the school. And apparently one of the teachers or someone released some sort of toxic gas by accident, and it was said to have killed some of the teachers and students in the building, or everyone in the building, basically. So if that doesn't freak you out, I don't know what will. So that was pretty scary. I don't know about the other two buildings. One of the buildings was new, Palalis. That's so new. So nothing really happened in there. And then the other one was Lane Hall. And I don't know if anything really happened there. To be honest with you, like, I don't know. There might have been stuff because, you know, I definitely felt things when I was in that building, I think. Sometimes at night it would be a little creepy. So, yeah. And then also the theater at my school was definitely, like, known to be haunted, or people were superstitious of things occurring at my school in the theater. Like people turning off lights, slamming doors when no one was there, like things like that. So it's basically your average ghost, like, trying to mess with you kind of thing. Basically, the ghost would, like, you know, you'd hear footsteps and everyone was gone. Like, I would sometimes be in the theater alone after rehearsal, like, trying to clean up or something, and I would remember hearing, like, footsteps and literally no one was there, or, like, doors slamming or lights going off and on, like, by themselves. So, the school was definitely haunted. Like, there's enough evidence in old buildings, like, back then when I went, to suggest that it was a haunted school. So, yeah, for the most part, not all the buildings are haunted. Of course, a lot of the school, like I said, is redone now. But yeah, when I was there, there was a lot of the original, like, older buildings there. I'm going to plug my laptop in so it doesn't die in the middle of this video, because that would be really sad. So yeah, now I'm going to get into my experience. So basically, I was a junior in high school, so I guess that means I was like 17 years old, something like that. So me and my friends were going to hang out. It was a Saturday night. We were really bored, and we wanted to do something crazy, something fun, something stupid. So basically, we went to Meservey Hall. We thought it would be a smart idea, or a creepy idea, to investigate Meservey Hall at 10 o'clock at night. And this is definitely against school rules, I'm pretty sure, to be going into the academic buildings, like, well past curfew. But I was like, okay, like, whatever, it's a Saturday night, our curfew's later, like, we have, like, a time where you have to be back in your dorm and all that stuff for check-in or whatever, something like that. I don't even remember, it's been so long. But basically, so we were being rebellious, and we basically went into this academic building, and it was completely unlocked, which was strange because usually it's not always unlocked. Usually we have security, or, like, the guards, they'll come around and lock all the academic buildings, but for whatever reason, this building was left unlocked this particular night. I don't remember what month I was in. I just remember, I think it was first semester of my junior year, and I just remember me and my friends, two of my guy friends, thought it would be a smart idea to break in, or not break in because it was unlocked, but, like, go into Meservey late at night because, like I said, and explained to you guys, that is where the gas fire was, or whatever, the gas leak, and where it was said to have many people die. And honestly, the building itself, like, whenever I'm in there by myself, which has happened before, like, even during the day, like, I get creeped out. Like, I get this weird vibe, and you guys know I have this ability to be able to feel these things, so I always knew that there was something there. Like, I knew. I could feel it, so that's why I wanted to go back and be like, okay, like, let's see if this shit is legit. So we walked around the building, and we went up and down the stairs, and we were going on different floors, because there's, I think, 3 floors in this building. And the stairs are old. They're, like, carpeted. They're, like, very creaky stairs. And they're old, because it's a very old building. So basically, we were on the first floor for a little bit. We got bored, so we were like, all right, let's go upstairs. So we all went upstairs, and we went up to the 3rd floor, and we were all up on the 3rd floor, and I think one of my friends went back down and was on the 1st floor, and then me and another one of my guy friends, we were just, like, chilling on the 3rd floor, and all of a sudden I hear, like, the creaking of the stairs, like, going up. But I'm, like, screaming to my friend, I'm like, where are you? And he's like, I'm down on the 1st floor. And I'm like, what the heck? And then me and my other friend are, like, looking at each other like, what? I'm like, we're hearing these footsteps, like, and the creaking noises, like, coming up the stairs. And these stairs are carpeted. Yes, they're creaky, whatever, but it sounded like footsteps. It really did. It sounded like somebody was walking up the stairs. We literally thought it was our friend walking up the stairs. So it's hard to explain to somebody that hasn't experienced that, but basically it was just like as if me or my friend was walking up the stairs, but our other friend was clearly down there because we called to him and he was like way down, like he was very far away, and it seemed like these footsteps were really close, and we were like really creeped out, so we went back downstairs. And then I remember we were back on the first floor with my friend, and we were like, that's so weird, like, we literally heard footsteps up there, like, and you were clearly down here, so, like, there was no way, like, it could have been anybody else. So, yeah, basically, that was the first part of what happened. Second part, okay, so we were on the first floor of this building, and I remember, like, there are, like, glass windows in the doors that are sort of square, so you can sort of, like, see right through it, you know, like, but it was very dark. Like, this is obviously a dark building because it was way past hours, like, it was 10 o'clock at night, like, obviously, you know, the lights are off, they're not on, but you can still sort of, like, see, like, through them, if that makes sense, because it's glass, you know, like, if I were going to put my face on the other side, you'd be able to see it. So, you guys are probably, like, freaking out already, so, basically, I was just standing there talking to my friends, and then all of a sudden, like, I was standing in the hallway, like, right by the staircase, you know, minding my own business, and all of a sudden, I look, like, directly ahead is a doorway to a classroom with the glass window, and I see a girl, like, and this building, you guys, it's literally, like, no one is there, no one, like, yes, there could have been, like, students that broke in, but the classrooms are locked, like, all of the classrooms are locked, so we got into the building, that was unlocked, but the classrooms themselves were locked. So, there was absolutely no way that this girl was, like, legit in there, like, that this was a real person, and you could tell, I could tell, from what I saw, like, it looked similar to my first ghost that I saw that I told you guys about. It was just very pale, like, ghostly pale girl, and her head was tilted like this, just looking at me, and I was like, oh my god, it was like straight out of an effing horror movie, and there was like some mark around her neck or something, I don't know, it was really creepy. I literally screamed. I don't know if I screamed, but I just had, my eyes were so wide, my friends were like, what the fuck is going on with her? Like, they know about my ability, they know that, like, I've had this before, so they, like, sort of knew what was going on, but didn't understand in the moment. They were like, what the heck? I'm like, Mandy, are you okay? Like, are you okay? And I'm like, I'm just, like, standing there, like, frozen, like, bitch, what the fuck? You know, like, I know I'm swearing. I'm so bad. I'm such a bad influence. But yeah, no, I'm just keeping it real with y'all. Like, if you saw the ghost of a girl, like, with her head tilted looking like that at you, like, you would be scared too, I'm sure. It was, like, straight out of a horror movie. I'm not even kidding. So, yeah. It was so fucking scary. Like, holy shit. So I, like, ran out. I booked it out of that freaking building. I was like, boom. I literally had that look, and then I ran off, and my friends were literally like, what the F just happened? Like, they didn't understand what was going on, and they were, like, trying to come after me. Like, my friends were, like, trying to, like, go after me, but I was literally running. I, like, bolted. Like, I was running down Academic Row like no other. Like, y'all wouldn't see me for days. Like, I was gone. I was out. Like, no. But, like, wouldn't you be out too? Like, come on. So, I, like, ran to, like, this field, this, like, grassy field on our campus, which is far away. Like, not far away, but it's near the library. It's not near Academic Row, where all those 4 academic buildings I mentioned were. It was, like, past that. So I was just chilling on the grass, like, trying to breathe, like, catch myself up, because I was in such disbelief. I was like, was that real? Like, was I seeing shit? Like, what was happening? Like, how is that possible? I'm like, what the mother effer, you know? Like, what? I thought I was crazy. I'm like, what is happening right now? I'm like, I saw that, and then my friends, one of them went back to his dorm because he's silly. But the other one of my friends literally, like came after me and like found me on the grass, like sitting there, like basically freaking out and panicking and like in a like state of like distress. And he felt really bad. He was like, "Oh my God, Mandy, like what happened? Like what happened?" And I'm like, "I saw a freaking ghost. Like I saw a ghost in this freaking, I was like, oh my God, I saw a ghost in that building looking right at me." And he was like, "Oh my God, are you serious?" And he was like freaked out. He was like, "Oh my God, that's so creepy." But like he didn't really believe in ghosts prior to this. Like he was sort of skeptical, not really like into ghost stuff or had any paranormal experience whatsoever before this. So just want to throw that out there. So basically, he believed me that I believed in these things, but like he himself did not have past experience with this and did not necessarily like have evidence to believe that these things exist. So basically, I was like, "Oh my God, I don't know what to do." He's like, "Let's go for a walk." So we went for a walk back on the other side of Academic Row. So there's like the front of the buildings where Academic Row is, and then there's the back of the buildings where you can walk behind the academic buildings, and that's where we walked. And we were walking, and I just like sat down like on like this stoop type thing, like brick stoop, like outside of one of the academic buildings, but it was on the back side of the building, if that makes sense. So we were sitting down, and all of a sudden my friend, he literally like looks up and looks across, like there's like this grassy field where we have sports, a lot of sports games and soccer games and softball and baseball, things like that. So all of a sudden I see my friend look up, and he's like looking across the field at like the hill, because there's like a slanted hill, and then there's like a building on top of that hill, which is like where the music room is, where our dining hall, our theater, like everything is. So basically, he looked across, and he had this look of shock on his face, or look of terror. Like, he was horrified, okay? And remember, guys, like I said, this kid has never had a paranormal experience ever. Ever, okay? So he looked terrified as he looked off there. And at first, like, I was like, "What?" I'm, like, looking at him, like, what's wrong? He's like, "Do you see that?" I'm like, "Do I see what?" He's like, "Do you see that on the hill?" And I'm like, "On the hill?" I'm like, "What's on the hill? I don't see anybody else out." And it was like dark, guys. Like it was like pitch dark. Like none of the students were really like out and about and like roaming around. We were sort of like being rebellious, because usually people were, in their dorms, like just hanging out watching Netflix or something. I don't even know if Netflix was around back then. I honestly don't know. I think it was, but whatever. I know I feel so old when I say that. But anyway, so basically, I was like, "All right, if you're seriously making a joke with me right now, this really isn't funny, and this is not a good time to be making a joke with me about this, like, stuff." And he's like, "Dude, I'm not joking. Like, why would I ever joke with you? Like, I've literally never seen one of these things in my life." And I look at, like, what he's looking at, like, what he's describing to me, and I look at the top of the hill where the field was, and I saw another girl. Like, and it was a different girl. It could have been the same, and it could have traveled. That's very, very possible. But it did not look like the same exact girl. However, I was not wearing glasses, and this was a very far away distance. But I could see and make out that it was a girl standing there. Like, her ankles were bare. That's the thing I remember the most, is her ankles were, like, bare, and she was wearing a dress, and there was, like, some sort of, like, thing around her ankle, and I'm like, she was barefoot, and I'm like, we were looking and seeing this ghost at the same exact time, and he was describing it to me, and I'm like, I'm like, I'm seeing it too, brother, like, you ain't crazy, like, you seeing this shit too, so, yeah. That was definitely creepy AF, because we were literally looking at the same fucking ghost at the same time, and I was like, "Oh my God, like, this is not my mind playing tricks on me, like, what the frig, like, what?" So my friend was meanwhile, like, basically having a panic attack and like freaking out because he's literally never seen or experienced anything paranormal in his life, and I'm sitting there meanwhile trying to comfort him now because he was comforting me before when I saw the other one in the building, but now I was comforting him because I'm sort of like used to this, which I know sounds really twisted, but like I'm used to having these paranormal experiences, and this was the first time this guy was ever seeing anything. So he was clearly freaked the F out. Like, he was spooked beyond belief. Like, I literally had to have him, like, walk. I think he walked me back to my building, or I wanted him to walk with me back to my dorm, because I did not want him to be, like, alone, and he didn't want to be alone by himself, but he wasn't allowed in my dorm because it was a girls-only dorm, and boys weren't allowed or whatever, unless it was, like, during study hall, or, like, unless they were sitting in the common room or something. I don't remember what the rules were, but yeah, boys could come in at certain times, but, like, they technically were not allowed to always be in the building, if that makes sense. So, basically, he walked me back, and I'm like, are you going to be okay? I literally looked at him, I'm like, are you going to be okay? And he was like, I think so. And I'm like, okay, well, like, call me, text me if you need anything. And I felt really bad because I'm like, of course this would happen when, you know, he's with me, because Miss Paranormal Person over here attracts all these ghost energies for whatever reason. So I just felt really bad for him, and I made sure to check in with him the next day to make sure everything was okay, and I knew how freaked out he was. So yeah, and he would not lie to me, guys. Like, he was literally so freaked out. Like, he wouldn't lie to me about seeing that, and I was seeing it too. So, like, you can't, like, fake that, if that makes sense. Like, if both people are seeing the same thing, that makes it real, in my opinion. In my opinion. You guys might disagree with me, but that's just what I think. So it was really freaky, really scary, and I remember feeling like a really weird energy in my room, like when I was going to bed that night. Like, I just remember feeling like this presence in the room that was like kind of creepy, and I was like, not about that life. I also slept on like a bunk bed on the top bunk my junior year, because I was in a triple with two of my really good friends, and I remember just feeling this really weird energy in the room. And after, like, everything happened, and it sort of felt like a female presence, if that makes sense. Like, I know you guys are probably like, how can you tell? I can't really explain it to people that haven't experienced it, but I could just sort of tell by what I was feeling that this was the energy or spirit of a girl. And it was weird. I don't know if it was the same energy as the girls we had seen, or the girls I had seen. I saw two that night. My friend only saw one, but that was pretty scary, guys. So I hope you guys got sufficiently spooked. If you did, make sure to like this video if you want to see more of my paranormal experiences, because like I said, I have so many more. And yeah, I would love to make more, especially in the spirit of Halloween. So feel free to like this video if you want to see more, and subscribe if you want to see more of my face and my videos. I love you guys so much, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, night, whenever you're watching this. I probably don't recommend watching it at night, but if you want to be really spooked and spook yourself out, then you can do that. But yeah, anyways, I love you guys so much, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.